What do you feel like culture means to you? How would you define it?
In its simplest terms, it's just the way you do things in and around your company. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's how you accomplish the work that you have to accomplish, the important work in front of you.
Mm-hmm. I think to add to that, it's the mindsets, behaviors, and habits that all your employees bring together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that cool factor too, or that extra spark that you bring, that you're almost selling yourself to an employee that way. Like, this is what we have to offer. Mm-hmm. So it's important.
Yeah, because all companies have values, right? We have
Right.
values, and we either put them on walls or posters
Yes.
or banners, but it's that extra added spark, and it's how we live up to those values.
Exactly.
Sort of the collective of it all, and how that differentiates your company from the next.
Yep.
Makes you more attractive to certain people, maybe not to others.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Yep.
Well, I mean, it's a big umbrella, right? There's a lot that falls under culture. I mean, what do you feel like is those one or two things that's really at the core of it? Like, where do you start? That's a question that we get a lot. You know, where's that thing that's the base layer for you to be able to build a culture?
I think you have to know what your values are. I think that's the very first thing you do, is you do that little exercise where everybody goes around the room and says what they are, and you kind of narrow it down to 5 or 6 and go from there, because I feel like that just sparks a lot more conversation about, well, what should we do with these, because we have these values, what else can we be doing in the community or as an organization to live by those values?
Yeah.
I like to combine the values component with really the mission of the organization, because it is how you do what you do, but it is also what you do, and it's a holistic view on your organization, not just the fringe benefits, which can be sometimes misconstrued as the culture things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I would even add to that, it's also why you do what you do.
Yes.
So, what is our reason for existence that goes beyond profit?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody is just waking out of that honeymoon ping pong table phase where it's like, we got a ping pong table though. The culture's great, right? So now that it's getting a little bit more real, if you had the magic wand and you could change one thing, what's that one thing you would start to see being changed in all businesses and organizations as it pertains to culture?
Oh, I think all employees being empowered to impact the culture. I still think there's this mindset of culture needs to be set for us. And my magic wand would be for all employees to feel empowered, that they can impact the culture, they can influence, that they can make a difference. It's not just coming top down.
Right. And if you don't have that buy-in, you're not going to get what you want out of it either. If they're not engaged in the process, then the culture might die, because they don't want to do that thing that the people at the top want them to do. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely important that I totally agree with you.
Building it up from
It has to come from them, from the employees. Yep.
We we talk about this a lot, which is the difference between buy in and buy it. A lot of companies, they want buy it, meaning that you could sell your people whatever.
Yeah.
And you just expect them to buy it, no matter how ridiculous it sounds or what it asks of them, versus buy in, where people actually get real ownership and what's happening. They feel connected to what it is that you're doing. I just feel like, or what we find is that people are just far more engaged when they feel like they actually have a piece of it. And they're easier to hold accountable when they have some ownership over what's happening. Yep. Speaking of which, how do you keep that relationship in your spaces with your people? How do you keep them connected and engaged and having them feel a part of it while doing what they have to do, which is the work?
Well, we even, with all our employees, ask, like, hey, what resonates with you? What do you feel like you're living out, or that you see your peers living out? What does that mean? So one of our values is a family value, and that's actually, if you had a most popular value, that would be ours, because that's what resonates, and that's what people want to bring forward themselves. So let's lean into that. Let's figure out what that should mean and what people want it to mean, and let's do that as an organization. And that's been really powerful.
Yeah.
over time, have you seen that value change and how people would define that?
Yes, we actually have, because I think when it was originally defined, family was referring to within the organization, like we treat each other, like family, because we have a lot of people who travel and they travel together. So you end up being one another's family. Sure. But over time, and especially in the last 5 years, this has changed into, no, Interstates is also about my family at home. Mm-hmm. And so how can I be the best version of myself for my family at home and my family at work? So we've adopted the dual definition and really tried to lean into it. And that is from employees. That's their interpretation and where they have changed it, because that's the true culture. That's not what's on a wall. That's what's happening.
Absolutely.
I'll add on to that real quick. When you talked about, the best of me, and you think about where do I take that best? I take it wherever I go, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's out in my community. And so one thing we do is a lot of what we call our culture shaping courses. But we essentially give employees the tools they need to be the best version of them. Whatever that looks like, right? We all might have a different version of what that looks like for us, but then being able to take that, best of you or the betterness wherever you go. And so that's one thing we do a lot of, is just those culture shaping courses. So we can go back and look at, what is my brain telling me? What are my filters? Are they helping me or hindering me?
Yeah. This is why I love being amongst my people.